News Radio 700 WLW.
We like to talk about patents with our good friend John Rizvi, the patent professor. And I thought today, first off, John, welcome back to the show as always.
Thank you.
So John, here it is. The it is Taco Tuesday. And
are you allowed to say that?
And I didn't.
Is it legally? Can you say
didn't
that?
know that had been copyrighted all along. Yet, every bar I know has a Taco Tuesday. Every restaurant has Taco Tuesday. It's a common phrase. I had no idea that had been copyrighted.
Yeah, no, it's been protected. It's actually trademarks, but it's been trademarks for years, and that was the basis of Taco Bell's petition to cancel. They're claiming that it had become such a generic phrase that it was a common phrase of the English language and should no longer be limited to these one of two owners of the trademark. Like one restaurant, Gregory's, is a restaurant in New Jersey that owned rights to Taco Tuesday in New Jersey, and then Taco John's owned the other 49 states. So. And they had what's called a concurrent use agreement. They both agreed that Gregory's is not going to expand outside of New Jersey, and Taco John's would not go into New Jersey. And together they had Taco Tuesday kind of wrapped up throughout the country.
So all good on Taco Tuesday until Taco Bell comes along and says, "Nah, you can't trademark that, and we're going to fight that."
Yeah, exactly. So Taco Bell filed a petition to cancel. There's a lot of back and forth at the trademark office until the recent development is that Taco John's finally succumbed and said, "Okay, you know what? We're not gonna fight for Taco Tuesday," and they abandoned their trademark.
So, John,
I was going to say, which leaves New Jersey still with Gregory's restaurant owning Taco Tuesday. So that's going to create a really awkward advertising scenario for Taco Bell. Like if they start using it, and you know how when you see a commercial, sometimes you'll see not available in Pennsylvania or whatever. You're going to see Taco Bell's commercial saying not available in New Jersey because they can't use that term in New Jersey.
So the impression, and that's what I was going to ask you, John. And John Rizvi is our guest, the patent professor. And John, that's what I was going to ask you. It's from what I'm reading here, it seems that Taco John's, who is a regional chain, I mean, not nearly as big as Taco Bell, which is massive. So, but they were just like, basically, we don't want to spend that kind of money to take on Taco Bell. So screw it, y'all can have it. Is that what happened, more or less?
That's in fact that was the CEO's statement. And there's as trademark attorneys, of course, we're looking at it, and their position was pretty weak. So it's almost a way to save face. If you're going to lose in court, you could go spend a lot of money, get to the bitter end, and lose, and then you kind of create, from a PR standpoint, a bit of a PR loss as well. Or you can make it appear as if you're taking the high road and you're just not going to spend money on lawyers fighting this. And instead, they made a donation of $40,000 to an organization known as CORE for the Children of Restaurant Employees. So really good. They're getting a lot of good PR from saying, hey, instead of fighting this, we're putting the money to this organization, which really helps employees of the restaurant industry.
Now, Taco John's had this trademark for 34 years. Now, I don't remember Taco Tuesday, being a general term you use. I feel like in the last 10 years, but
and I've never heard of Taco John's, to be honest.
Oh, really? Yeah, I've heard of them, but I don't know if there's. I don't think there's any around here. But what I want to ask you is, could Taco, if they would have taken this to the mat and to court and everything, would Taco John's have won?
They would have a stretch. So anytime a phrase starts becoming so commonly used, and that's happened with a lot of terms. Aspirin, for example, is no longer a brand name. Escalator used to be a trademark, for basically a moving staircase, and it's now generic. Thermos is now a generic term for like a container for liquids and whatnot. These are all terms that have become generic. Now, companies spend a lot of money and time trying to teach consumers that their trademark is a trademark and it's not the general term. For example, popsicle is a trademark owned by the company Unilever, and they take a lot of real estate up on their website teaching consumers that a popsicle is not a name for any frozen pop on a stick, that it's specifically a trademark for their product. So that what they're trying to do is prevent consumers from using the term in a generic sense, because then it becomes harder to protect it as a trademark. Google's doing the same thing. The people start saying, well, why don't you Google it? That's actually improper unless they really mean go to Google and do the search. If they mean do an online search, then they should say do an online search. So that's another term that if it's tested in the courts, then it may very well succumb to becoming known as a generic term as well.
But wouldn't you? I guess I can understand protecting the brand, but that's saying something that, because believe me, if I go, I don't care where I go. If I go to whatever, the 7-Eleven or some such, and get up, Ralph's frozen, strawberry treat, guess what? I'm going to go, anybody else want a popsicle?
Yeah.
I'm not going to call it a strawberry treat, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're right. And there's a lot of products like that. The Post-it note, for example, if you're going to go into an office supply store and ask for a Post-it, it's difficult without using that trademark term. You could ask for a removable yellow sticky note, but they don't have to be yellow either. So a removable sticky note is going to confuse more store clerks than if you simply ask for a Post-it.
Band-Aid, I would think, is another one, right? I mean,
yes, yep.
Yep.
And it's tough because almost it's something where the more successful a company becomes in their marketing, it's almost as if their success hurts them. Kleenex, for example, is another one. It's an incredibly successful brand, but for facial tissues, but so successful, in fact, that people often don't refer to them as facial tissues. They're referring to them as Kleenex in a generic sense. And anytime the public starts doing that, it puts a company's product at risk of becoming generic. I mean, these are all coming to me, like teleprompter, for example, started as a brand, and of course now it's just a generic term for some kind of device that helps you look good on camera.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about before. It just kind of dawned on me that be careful with too successful of marketing,
Yeah.
right?
Right, like not successful, and then you're at risk. Too successful, and your brand's also at risk. So it's a kind of a fine line. You can, in fact, companies really need to budget for that. So if their brand really takes off, becomes super successful, make sure that they put a certain amount aside for educating the public that their brand is a brand and not a generic term. And once you realize this, you'll pay more attention to a lot of products. If you look at a bag of Doritos tortilla chips, for example, you'll notice that it doesn't just say Doritos with the R and the circle around it. In their ad, if it's an audio ad, it'll say Doritos brand tortilla chips. And that's an effort to teach consumers that the product itself is called a tortilla chip. We are the brand name Doritos. So the product is not, that type of chip is not a Doritos. That's not a generic term for that food product.
Well, bringing it back to Taco Tuesday, will we now start to hear a lot of Taco Bell branding of Taco Tuesday? A lot of commercials from Taco Bell talking about, hey, come on in for Taco Tuesday now that it's no longer trademarked?
It's interesting to follow that, because in a lot of their court documents, they were acting, almost kind of like Robin Hood in a sense that, hey, we are not doing this out of self-interest. We're doing this to free, to free the term Taco Tuesday.
We free
so that
Taco Tuesday. Yeah, baby.
Hashtag free Taco Tuesday.
They wanted to free the term for everybody to use. It would really be kind of ironic if, like a month or so after this, you see national advertising campaigns by Taco Bell, and that just reveals the true intent was that they wanted to use Taco Tuesday themselves. It wasn't about freeing it for everybody else. Of course, they've got the locations to really maximize that use as well.
The one that really drives me nuts every year is Super Bowl. And, unless you buy the licensing to the term Super Bowl, that's the reason you hear so many, if you're not the official beer, say, of the Super Bowl, then that's why get our beer for the big game coming on Sunday and that type of thing. You hear that all the time. It's goofy.
Yep.
All right. With that, John, we will let you go and go celebrate Taco Tuesday and just use that term freely now.
Not in New Jersey, though.
Right?
Not in New Jersey.
Not in Jersey, baby. It is thepatentprofessor.com. Check out John Rizvi. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.